Welcome to Fit Chat, Chit Chat. I'm your hostess, Devondrea Sanchez, also known as the Fit Therapist, founder, owner, and client of Finding Inner Transformation, licensed marriage and family therapist. All those things are great, but most importantly, I just want to share that here at Finding Inner Transformation, we believe that a fit mindset is more than the physical. It is emotional, mental, and of course, more importantly, spiritual. So take care of all of yourself. All of your health matters. All right, y'all. So I wanted to jump on here. First, let me just say I apologize. I had this scheduled to go out at 4 p.m., but I'm so thankful my dentist canceled my appointment. So I took an opportunity to get on here earlier so I can have my afternoon to take care of a few other things. But I noticed this morning that I had not been on here for an update in at least about 3 weeks, maybe even 4, just to give you an update of where I am in my half marathon training and the adjustments I did. Before I move on again, shout out to Self-Define, my boy Nelson. If you're looking for some amazing apparel that really speaks volumes, what defines you? I can tell you myself is defined by the Word of God. So what he says goes for me. But if you're looking for some amazing apparel, Self-Define, go over to Self-Define on Instagram, Facebook, or selfdefine.com. So I just want to make mention because this is the second time, y'all, that I have used his apparel on my show. So I want to make sure I shout him out. Thank you, Nelson. So if you're watching this live and you have questions, feedback, or comments, please put them in the comments. If you're watching this in a recording, also put them in the comments so then I can answer them. Okay, so just a little background. My last half marathon was in 2017, and that was Twin Cities, Fresno. I did well. I took 6th place female, so I was proud of that. However, in 2015, I took 2nd place female. Prior to that, I had just been really focused on marathons. And for those that don't know, I started running probably in 2006. It was 2006. I would say more intensely. And it really started off with a full marathon. I did not start with halves. I was doing local 5Ks at the military base we were stationed at. But I did not start at a half marathon, and I'm glad I actually didn't. For those who do start at a half marathon or 5Ks in training, absolutely, you should definitely do that. I'm glad I didn't start there. I started at the full, so I didn't know anything different. So running a half, by the time I ran a half, I had already ran 3 marathons. I had ran Nashville Country Music Marathon, beautiful. If you're looking for a fun race, Nashville's was amazing. And then Kiowa Island. And I ran Kiowa Island, which is in South Carolina, because someone told me and my running partner at the time that we were very close for qualifying for Boston at that time. We didn't even know anything about Boston. We didn't know anything about what that all meant. We didn't know we had to train at a 1 marathon to qualify to run Boston. So when we got that information, we decided to do Kiowa Island Marathon, and I did qualify at a 3:35. I think we needed a 3. Maybe I qualified at 3:32, something like that. Anyway, I was able to qualify. So then I ran Boston about 4 months later, and absolutely the best. Let me take that back. Not the best marathon, but it was significant because most runners, that is their goal, is to qualify for Boston. So I did have the experience, and I totally thank God for that experience. It was something I crossed off my bucket list, and I qualified several times after that, but I didn't see the need to go back and run Boston. I actually think Twin Cities, Fresno, I never ran the Clovis, but Twin Cities, Fresno has been by far the best marathon. And I've run San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon. That's another fun one if you're into the music marathons where they have live bands and people cheering. 100% support that. So here I am, fast forward, went from running to figure building competitions in 2013, I never stopped running. My coaches that I've had in the past were really amazing. Hey, Miss Patty. Hey, girl. They were amazing because they knew I needed to run. Like that was part of something that I really enjoy. So they worked with me because for some bodybuilders, they don't run. They'll do some cardio, but it's usually low impact. It's usually some HIIT, but it's never miles and miles and miles. So fast forward to recently, I signed up for the Twin Cities. Well, it's Clovis. I don't know if they're still calling it the Twin Cities, but I signed up to do it. And I wanted to go back to competing in half marathons. I have been very successful over the years where some smaller half marathons I've taken first place female. I actually ran an ultra marathon in 2010 where I took first place female. So that was 31 and a quarter miles. Praise God. That was all his doing and my husband's encouragement because I wasn't even going to do the ultra marathon. And actually he did it too. So I'm super proud of him because he does not fit the mold of a traditional looking runner. I will go ahead and say neither do I. So we definitely do not fit the mold. And anyone who else is a runner, walker, fast walker, jog walker, and you don't look like the people who show up, kudos to you because guess what? There is no type. And that's one thing that I do love about running and walking or jog walking because you see people of all variations of sizes and races. So do not let it be discouraged. My aunt, I'm going to shout her out, Teresa. She walked a full marathon. And my old boss, Marianne Forsherman, she walked a full marathon, a couple of them, I think, and in their 50s. So do not be discouraged. If it takes you longer than someone else, who cares? The point is just to go. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but I thought that was worth speaking to. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Train girl. Thank you, because I was battling with my hair. See, when you don't have chemicals in your hair, the curls will do what they want to do. They do whatever they want to do. So I had to sit and we had to have a little conversation today. Thank you. You could start walking and then speed walking. That's what happened to me. One day I'll get on here and share my story, but I was about 110 pounds more. And all I could do was walk. It was just too much on my knees at the time. So all I could do was walk. And then I started walking really fast. Thank you, Patty. And then I just started walking. And then I started walking bleachers, getting my legs strong until one day I started, as heavy as I was at that point, about 240 pounds, I would run the curve of a track. And then I will walk the straightaway. And then, yes, it hurt. Yes, it was, took a lot out of me. And then I would run the next curve and then the next one until finally I said, I'm going to try this straightaway. And then I started that. So, listen to your body, obviously, putting a lot of pressure on your knees and ankles and all that. I remember those days, but just start. So start with a very high pace walk. And then before you know it, you will be running. I promise you. And if you go to any of these 5K, 10Ks, marathons, half marathons, you will see all body types out there. So about 3-4 weeks ago, I got on here and said, you know what, I'm starting training. And because I'm what they call a hybrid athlete, where I lift and I run, you have to be very strategic and intentional about what becomes the priority. So because I decided to train for this half, well, at first I wasn't sure. I was like, I might train for the full marathon. I just don't want to do it. I had to come to, just an agreement with myself. And I was like, Lord, he was like, I didn't tell you to do that. So I'm like, listen, okay, well, we out. We both agree that I'm not doing the full marathon. I'm not saying I will never do it. A part of me is desiring to see what that would look like as far as could I still qualify for Boston. However, that's not for 2021. It's just not. So the half it is. So I started going real strong on the half. And I got my times down from 9-minute mile, which that's just me kind of like jogging, to a 7:35 and 7:45 minute mile. But then I had to retrack a little bit and say, well, how can I be most optimal? Because I was finding that my breathing was getting a little bit heavy during those 7 late 7-minute miles. So I was happened to be on Facebook, and my coach, my forever coach, shout out to Shreddy Eddie. I mentioned something and he came and got me. So I told him what my goals were. We made a couple changes to my diet, which have been amazing. I'm going in week 2 and leaning out a little bit. And that's what I needed to do. I just feel like I wasn't in the best optimal situation for my performance. So him and I collaborated a plan to kind of lean out a little bit, focus on HIIT and some less strenuous cardio and keep lifting right now, because the goal is, if you are a lifter and a runner, you want to keep the hard work of your muscles, and long periods of cardio will start eating at the muscles, especially if you are in a caloric deficit, you're not eating in surplus. You want to take care of your muscles because you do not want to let your hard work go to waste by doing excessive cardio. So usually I keep quite a bit of muscle mass even on my runs, except for when I was only a runner, which was from 2006 to 2012. I didn't lift. I did some, calisthenics and things like that, but I didn't really lift. I just ran, sometimes 40 to 45 miles a week. It was not uncommon then to run 10, 12, 15 miles before I went to work. I don't do that no more. Maybe 8 miles for a longer run here lately. So make transitions when you have to. So what I did, so the whole concept of this is doing less to get more. I backed up my running for the last couple weeks. And I will tell you that I feel stronger. I feel more capable of decreasing my run times without putting so much pressure. So sometimes less is more. And so I'm going to do a quick change in the route of less is more from exercise or workouts to life. Sometimes less busyness gives you more peace. Sometimes less racing thoughts and being committed to staying focused on one particular thing than several things can bring us better joy. And so I just want to say less is more in a whole lot of areas. Less talking is better. Shout out to my guy, brother and friend, Jack, who's talking in a series right now about just being quiet and being in faith and resting in the Lord. So, sometimes less is more. And sometimes in performance, you don't have to go hard to get your goals met. I used to work with this guy named Fred. Fred was almost 70 when I was in my 20s. He has gone on to be with the Lord, from my understanding, about, 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. But Fred had the physique of a 30-something-year-old who went to the gym. He was a BUDS instructor, if I'm not mistaken. Tyrone will correct me if I'm wrong. But Fred looked good. Okay. And Fred was like 68, 69. He'd come in with his little muscle shirts on. I'm like, Fred, you know what you're doing. And Fred said, you know what? He said, you know what, Sanchez? I will go to the gym every day for 30 minutes for the rest of my life than to be like these guys that come in, they spend 2-3 hours, and I don't see them after 3 months. I said, Fred, that's a whole word. That's a whole word. He's absolutely correct. You don't have to go so hard that you burn yourself out, you're fatigued, you're exhausted, you cannot perform optimally in the areas that you need to be as a parent, as a spouse, as a partner, an employee, because you're burned out because you're going so hard. You're better off with the discipline. You're better off with consistency. So when I say have less to get more, I'm watching it. I'm even watching my last run numbers even change without giving up a lung to get there. Because when I came out of the chute, it was like 7:40-minute miles. Back in the day when I was just a runner, I was averaging about 7-minute miles, sometimes 6s in early 7s. And that's what I would do out there on my half marathon races. That's how I was able to pull a 132 or 134 half marathon pace. I recognize there's some things that's changed. I'm not even blaming age so much. I do know that that plays a part, because what happens, it's not so much that our metabolism slows down as we slow down as we age. There's no more kids to run around. There's no more taking them there, going to the parks, doing all these things, getting up, having to go partying till 3 in the morning, being at work at 7 in the morning. We slow down naturally. However, I would tell you less is so much more in everything the older you get. Yes, Patty, you're absolutely right. In appreciating that. And I think sometimes there's a grief when we feel like we can't do more, when we should really be embracing the fact that we can do anything at all. It's a mindset change. It's a mindset about how we think about our working out, what part of that impacts the other parts of our life. I would tell you, when I was running, my diet was very, very low carb, because I just didn't know how to eat. I came from being significantly overweight to running and being scared of carbs. That don't even add up. I know that don't even. Um, I just didn't know. I didn't have a trainer. I didn't have a coach. So I was like very small, and I had low body fat because I just was skinny. I would just tell anyone, if you are going to really go all in on a fitness endeavor, find out how to eat and how to fuel your body if you don't know. I mean, we do have Google everywhere. That's amazing. If you can afford a coach, get a coach for a little bit. Get a coach to help you learn how to eat and perform and what exercises, if you have a specific goal. If your goal is only to, I'm not saying only, but to get healthy and learn to eat right, I mean, Google is fine. But if you want to be amazing and optimal at a specific sport, such as I'm going to run this half marathon and I have a time that I want to run it in, or I want to make sure that I'm eating enough to perform my best, then I would tell you there's nothing wrong with getting a coach for a couple months. I have a coach. I love a coach. People ask me, well, why would you have a coach if you already know how to eat? I used to train people. I used to make meal plans, all those things, because A, I want to. B, there's something amazing about having an accountability partner. When Tyrone was my accountability partner, trust me, I still had peach cobbler on my plate. My husband is in full support of, I would say, balance, but overall, like, just enjoy life. And I appreciate that. But when I have a goal, or when you have a goal, you should really look at, what does this fit the goals that I want? I can tell when I've had a rough night eating. The next day, my performance is not the best, especially on a run. Lifting, maybe I can get away with having something, but running, I can definitely feel it. I can definitely feel it. So Patty says, especially getting older, less is better on your joints. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what's best for your body. Now, was I in competitions with women in their 60s? Yep. Do I know that there are women out there in their 70s and 80s? I mean, oh my goodness, what is her name? Ernestine, the world's oldest bodybuilder, African American. Amazing. This woman runs 11 miles a day and then goes and teaches workout classes, and then she lifts. So she, gives honor to God, and she goes out and takes care of her body. She eats really healthy, really clean. I can't think of her last name right now. Somebody, Shepherd, Ernest, somebody put it in the chat if you know. But so it depends. Yeah, we want to take care of our joints though, but taking care of our joints is not only what we do on the outside, it's what we do on the inside, right? If we're not giving ourselves the appropriate supplements, or we're not getting the right micronutrients to support it, our joints internally, I mean, what you do on the outside is definitely going to play a part in it. And so I would definitely tell anyone, if you are looking for a goal that you have in mind, whether it's weight loss, whether it's to do a Spartan race, whether it's to lift more, and you don't know what to do, and it's beyond Google, and that's frustrating because one tells you this and one tells you that. There's so many diets out here. There's so many things, and it can be very confusing. I'm not pushing to hire a coach, but there's nothing wrong with getting it right the first time. I didn't do that. For 2006 to 2012, I would tell you I barely ate enough food to optimally keep me going. But somehow, I know how. It was nothing but the grace of God that allowed me to win races when I was barely eating enough to satisfy 4 miles, let alone 10 to 12 miles. So 2013, when I hit competition, I had all this food and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't even know if I should be eating all this. And it was healthy, whole foods, but I never ate like that. So my coach at that time really geared me to not be fearful of eating. Eating in, what I know now is I probably needed more food even in that competition because I was still running. However, it allowed me to experience that you do need to eat to perform well. I know sometimes it sounds counterintuitive to what we should be doing, right? In this case, you want more of healthy food and less of the junk food. This is where less is best. I'm not saying don't have it. What I'm saying is you want to minimize it. If you are starting off and you want to run one day, I would tell you don't go out trying to run and walk 5 miles. Start off with a half a mile. Then move to a mile. See how you feel. Check in with your body. Sometimes if our mind is the only thing that's focused on that goal, we can hurt ourselves. And I see it every time people go into the gym. They want to go hard. They want to go ham. I'm telling you, as much muscle mass that I carry, or I see other people that I know in my circle, they are not power lifters. There's a difference, and I get it. Power lifters are going for strength. My old coach said, bodybuilders are not to be strong, they're to look strong. I agree with that to some degree, but I don't go into power lift. I want to make sure I'm not hurting myself. I want to make sure that I'm doing what's right for my body. And I want to do a check-in with my body every time I am lifting. It's not lifting and pow, 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 and then show up and next thing you know, you have back pain and you've got a pinched nerve or muscle tear, because those things can happen. So right now for my training, I will not start actual training until probably mid-September. So I'm probably doing more HIIT and lifts these days. Well, I am doing more HIIT and lifts these days, and I'm focusing really importantly on my diet. My diet is right now I'm at 100% discipline. That's all I want to focus on right now so that I can lean out. That helps me run. There are people who can run with heavier masses. That's how they train. I remember the first time I went to my first marathon, Tyrone was there cheering me on. And he was like, yeah, you see that guy running with that beer belly and that guy running and I can beat them. I said, Tyrone, they train like that. They train like that. So be humble about what they're doing. And when he finally ran his first, he understood. You having that excess weight can be a lot more difficult, but at the same time, we have to be mindful that what's good for our body. Like I said, my aunt walked her full marathon. My old boss walked a couple of them. And yes, maybe they don't get done in 3-4 hours, but the courses are usually open for 7 to 8 hours. Most people can get it done by that. So I would challenge you to set a goal. Focus on it, write it down. I'm old school. I have a whiteboard. I write down everything every day. That helps me stay not only accountable to myself, it also allows me to see how I'm progressing. So it's okay to tone it down. So if you just go in the gym for 30 minutes, that's amazing. You don't need to stay in there 2 hours. Again, less is more in your relationships. Maybe we need to do less talking and more listening. Maybe we need to do, less criticizing or complaining, do more worshiping and praying. This can go across the board about where less can be actually more, because then you can hear, you can feel, you can be. And so I don't want to get off on my tangent about other aspects of life, but you get the point. Sometimes too much busyness keeps you from really learning what you should be doing in this season of your life. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for jumping on today. I plan on putting out some of my workouts. Actually, going to upload a HIIT workout. It's just a cardio treadmill run where I all out, slow down, all out, slow down. That really helps pump up my metabolism because the body doesn't know what's next. And I'm constantly challenging my heart rate. And so those are things that you can do just to kind of get more optimal. In addition, you burn more calories later on in the day versus just running a steady state cardio, which I love steady state cardio. Most people don't. I could run literally, if I was just jogging, I probably could jog for, if I had to guess, 10 miles and wouldn't blink an eye. And if I'm in cruise control, if I'm not in cruise control, then I am not doing it. So I look forward to increasing my miles, but I look forward to increasing it without going all out. It will feel comfortable to me, to my body and my breathing. And so with that being said, I want to do a plug for my brother Jack. If you have not gotten the Beginner's Guide to Faith, go on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and other bookstores. This is amazing. I have the original, one of the originals, so I feel blessed and honored. But if you have not gotten it yet, it is still available. It is so good. It is so good, y'all. And you can apply this to your life and see where you start seeing the tentacles in other aspects of your life. You know, right now I'm standing in faith that I'm completing this half marathon. I'm standing in faith in things in my marriage. I'm standing in faith in my parenting. So it is tentacles, right? This is the foundation. It is impossible to please God without faith. Impossible. That's why we got to show up and learn whatever it is you need to. And you could be a seasoned Christian, right? You've been in the game 50, 40, however many years, but you're never too late to learn more and see with different spiritual eyes in this season. So go out and get his book. I look forward to coming on a Fit Chat Chit Chat. I have an amazing speaker that I'm trying to get a hold of for the month of September as we're moving into more serious topics, such as suicide prevention. I have my own story to share and testimony about that. So I look forward to that coming up in September. Also, for those who are trying to get serious about their health, like you really are like, I'm done with excuses. I'm done having a diet and starting on Monday, every Monday. I get it. Trust me, one of those people. Child, I tried the cabbage diet. You hear me? I lasted about 5 hours on that thing. Like 5 hours. I couldn't do it no more. My friend had a hamburger cooking. It was a wrap. But anyway, that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But if you listen to last Fit Chat Chit Chat, we had two coaches on, Rosie and Tanya, who talked about just completing the 75 Hard Challenge. They brought on 3 participants who finished and completed and did absolutely amazing. If you have not watched that Fit Chat Chit Chat about 75 Hard Challenge, watch it. They're going to be doing another one September 7th, and it ends right before the holidays. It ends right before the holidays. So if you are interested in the 75 Hard Challenge, you can DM me, you can email me at fitchatchitchat@gmail.com, and I can link you to them. They are also doing people who want to do it virtually. They had several people who did it virtually. So you do not have to be present to be in the 75 Hard Challenge. There is a small fee. I don't want to speak, but I think it was like $20, but that goes into the pot to the top 3 winners. So it's not like they're keeping it. So if you are wanting to go into a challenge to challenge yourself, it's a mental toughness program. The byproduct of that is that you lose weight. One of the guys lost 35 pounds. One lady lost 22, and I think the other one lost 16, 17 pounds. But what they gained out of it, you guys gotta see it. It's the 75 Hard Challenge. Find it on Finding Inner Transformation. I have, just came up on my time. Thank you all for joining in. I love you. God bless. Find me on Instagram and Facebook at Fit Therapist, on YouTube at Finding Inner Transformation. Send the video over to friends, subscribe, hit the notifications button so that we can get more followers to get amazing information. I love y'all. God bless. See you next time.